So Black Mage has received a lot of changes in 7.2. We may have lost a lot of tricks we used to be able to do, but there still are some tricks that we can do. And I'm going to go over a couple of rotation tips you can use to squeeze out a little bit of extra damage. One of the first big things that's pretty important to understand is since our cast times are now shorter than the recast timer, triple cast isn't really a DPS gain anymore. So you don't need to keep it rolling or worry about getting as many uses out of it as possible. It's more important to have it when you need it and manage it accordingly. You can still use it to gain DPS though. And one of the ways to do that is to utilize Transpose to instant cast Blizzard 3. So let's say you're at the end of your fire phase, you just despaired. What you're going to want to do is Transpose, Swift Cast or Triple Cast, and then you Blizzard 3. Alright, so here's an example. We're nearing the end of our fire phase. We cast a Paradox, we triple cast, Fire 4, Flare Shard, and we Despair and Transpose, and then we Blizzard 3. Now there's many different ways to do this, but the important thing is that you Transpose into Umbral Ice and instant cast in Blizzard 3. Now this brings me to my next tip. When you use Paradox and Astral Fire, it gives you a free Fire 3 proc, and it's generally a very good idea to save this to transition back into Astral Fire from Umbral Ice using Transpose. So we can use instant cast Blizzard 3 to go into Umbral Ice, and then we can follow up with something like this to go back into Astral Fire. So we can use a Blizzard 4, we can cast Paradox, refresh our Thunder Dot if needed, or dump a Xeno. The important thing is to use an instant cast before we transpose, so it's off the GCD. Then we can use our Fire 3 proc before doing our fire rotation. So we can use this Fire 3 tech even if we go into Umbral Ice without a proc. The way to do that would be very similar. So we'll enter our Umbral Ice phase, and then we'll channel Blizzard 4, and we'll cast Paradox and Transpose, then Paradox, then we'll use our Fire 3 proc before continuing our fire rotation. Now there is a downside to doing it this way, and it's that we will have to cast 6 times Fire 4s in the Flare Shard with no Paradox to weave where we need it for movement. So plan your other spells accordingly to handle movement if you plan on doing this, but eventually once we get to use Mana Font again, we'll be able to reset and keep a Fire 3 proc for going into Umbral Ice. And now to wrap it all up, here's a picture of some example lines, how you can bring Transpose instant cast Blizzard 3 and Transpose Fire 3 procs into your rotation. The first line is with a Fire 3 proc. You would cast Despair, Swift Cast, and Transpose off the GCD, instant cast Blizzard 3, Blizzard 4, and you would Paradox, Transpose, and use your instant cast Fire 3. And for the second line, if you go into Umbral Ice without a Fire 3 proc, it is pretty much exactly the same. The only difference is after you transpose back into Astral Fire, you will cast Paradox first to generate a Fire 3 proc, and then use that before continuing on. Now there's many ways you can utilize these techniques to change from Astral Fire to Umbral Ice to get a little more damage. The order of abilities isn't really important, where you need to refresh your Thunder Dot or dump some Xenoglossies. The important thing is just getting the Transpose instant cast Blizzard 3 to go into Umbral Ice, and getting the Transpose back into Astral Fire and using the Fire 3 proc to get the little bit of extra damage. And that's all, and thanks for watching.